Welcome back into that Sean podcast. It's I, the big Ush. It's he, the cat daddy. Cat daddy. What's on your mind?
I didn't fill out a bracket this year for March Madness, but if I did fill out a bracket, mine would not be busted because I always choose UNC to win it all, and I always choose Duke to go as far as possible until they run into UNC. Now, this year would have been
Kansas
fantastic. Villanova, too. Villanova's just a clear favorite. You just like pencil through as far as you can. But this year would have been great for my bracket had I filled one out because Duke and UNC are, for the first time ever, meeting in the NCAA tournament, and they're meeting in the Final Four. And it's going to be a shame that Coach K's final game is going to be a defeat against UNC in the tournaments.
Hopefully.
So, but we're not here to talk about March Madness and basketball. We're here to talk about more NFL prospects, give our rankings as we finish off the defense.
All right. So, I'm not going to hold y'all up with mumbo jumbo, wandy wacky, dackalacky. We just going to jump right into
wackety.
it. And we're going with those interior defensive linemen. So, start her up. Cat Daddy.
All right, I'm going first. All right, IDL number 5 is going to be Travis Jones from Connecticut. Were his numbers good this season? No, but it wasn't really his fault. What the tape did show was Travis Jones crushing offensive lines. He had a good Senior Bowl week. He had a good combine showing. If your team drafts Travis Jones, you are getting a big nose tackle who is a solid run defender and can get after the quarterback.
All right, so this is a little embarrassing. Not really. It's awkward because my number 5 guy is Travis Jones.
How's it awkward?
And with that said, he don't need no numbers. He's a one tech. I want to put on the tape and I want to see how much space this fool's eating up. I want to see what he's doing behind the line of scrimmage. See if he's redirecting the play. Seeing if running backs are terrified to go his way. That's what I want to see. And you know something? That's what I saw.
And that's the thing about nose tackles, the big nose tackles, you are not going to see show up in the box score. You're not going to see the high tackle number. You're not going to see the high sack number. But when you're getting a nose tackle, you don't want to see those numbers. You want to see the impact of how does he move the pocket? How does he crush the pocket? How does he punish the offense?
All right, next up, your number 4 guy.
I have Perry Winfrey from Oklahoma. Senior Bowl week was ridiculous from a pass rushing standpoint. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see a whole lot of the run stopping, the run defense. We didn't get to see that. And for me, it's like that was almost something that he was struggling with during the regular season. So I was hoping for a little bit more of that when it came to the Senior Bowl. Didn't get to see it. And it sounds like some teams may have some character concerns about him, which may hurt his standing in his draft stock. But right now, potential, I got him number 4.
All right. Again, he's my number 4 guy. So we're really boring right now. Now, the thing about him is I don't know about these interviews and this character concerns. All I know is it's unfortunate for him to have gone to Oklahoma. He should have never went there to begin with because Oklahoma plays all of their players out of position. He was one of them that was playing out of position, did not get to showcase his skill set. He's finally getting into this draft process and people are seeing some of the other stuff he can do. He's got a lot of juice. He's going to be productive for some team out there, so hopefully he can get it together.
All right, since we had the same 5 and 4, do you want to do number 3? Your number 3 first?
No.
You want me to go first?
If it's the same, it's the same because I know the edge is going to be different.
All right. My number 3 is DeMarvin Leal. And I really had a hard time between my 3 and my 2. I had a hard time. DeMarvin Leal has got the size to be able to play inside and outside. He can adjust to that. He may struggle a little bit on the inside just due to his weight. He's a little bit under 300 pounds, and that's not the ideal weight that you want for a defensive tackle. But he's able to make up for that with agility. So he's very flexible. I could see a team drafting him as an edge, but he's been listed as interior defensive line for a long while. So that's where we have him listed. Who do you have as number? Your number three.
Number 3 is DeMarvin Leal. And here's the thing with DeMarvin Leal. Here's the problem with him. Insane talent. Lots of athleticism. He's got the ability to play. Where do you play him at? He's a tweener, and this, we're not talking about some of these other players who are positionless players. No, what it is we don't know what position we can put him in, and I mean, hopefully he gets into the NFL. He hits an NFL weight room, because if he can pull, and people, do not at me, okay? Do not at me here. But if he can pull an Aaron Donald-like thing, and he can get stronger, and he can powerhouse some of these, offensive linemen who are 60 pounds more than him, he can carve out a really nice career in the NFL. Next up, unless you want to.
All right, number
get
2.
after me about that name drop.
Nah, I'll let the people do that. No.
All right.
My number 2 is Devonte Wyatt, Georgia. He had a good season. He had a fantastic Senior Bowl week. Has potential, but I do hear that there are some off-field issues, character concerns that may be present for him. But the potential's there. Right coaching, right environment, good player.
Again, we're on the same page here, so it's the exact same guys all the way down. Devonte Wyatt, I don't know about those character concerns. All I know is this guy has the potential to be the best the interior defensive lineman in this draft. So, again, another guy, better get your butt in gear, bruh. Because if you want to play in this league, you need to, get your head right.
Yes, absolutely.
Number
All right.
1.
Number 1 should be without question. I know on my board he was number 1, coast to coast, or no? He started my preseason number 2. I had DeMarvin Leal as my number 1 in the preseason, but he was number 1 postseason. He's number 1 in my finals. It is Jordan Davis from Georgia. I got 2 words for you: game wrecker. I wasn't surprised that he was athletic. I was surprised that the level of athleticism for a man his size and how well he moved.
All right, my number 1 is also Jordan Davis. Some team is going to fall in love with this man. I get it. Some other people think he's going to fall because apparently there's some weight issues that go on. So other people talk about the part-time play on defense. Well, when you're beating the piss out of people week in, week out, there's no reason to have all your studs on the field all the time. This guy is a legit stud. You get him in the right system with the right coaches and the right mentors, he'll be just fine. All right, moving on to the edge, and this time I'll go first so that Cat Daddy can adjust if he needs to. I don't think
there's no adjusting going on. I got my 5 set.
All right, so my number 5.
You're going to disagree with my 5.
Well, my number 5 guy might be the same as your number 5 guy. It's a new guy on my list, and it's going to be an interesting one here. Now, no, I'm just going to let everybody know, David Ajabo has fallen out of the top 5, not because of ability, due to the injury. Unfortunately, I can't have a guy who's got an ACL tear right before the draft, who most likely won't even start the season or play in the season, on my top 5 edge rushers. I can't do it. It's irresponsible. So, just letting you know, he has fallen out of the top 5, which made an opening. And this opening is Boye Mafe out of Minnesota. This guy's got some size to him. He's got a lot of juice. We have not seen everything he can offer because he played at Minnesota, and it just wasn't the stage for him to show what he has.
I like that one. Boye Mafe. He's not in my top 5, so we do have a difference at number 5.
I know, because I think there's someone in yours that's not in mine.
It might be this number 5 guy right here. Even before David Ojabo got injured, I wasn't as high on Ojabo as some people were. And that is going to work out in the favor of my number 5 guy. It's going to give him a little bit more, not exposure, but his name's going to be out there more. It's George Karlaftis from Purdue. We share a Big Ten guy, right? Minnesota, Purdue, Big Ten, so we got that in common. And it's going to work in the favor of George Karlaftis because his postseason has been pretty quiet so far. Even his regular season was pretty quiet. But the man knows how to get after the quarterback. He may have some struggles against the run early in his career, but he knows how to get after the quarterback. And when you're drafting an edge rusher, you want him to get after the quarterback.
The only pause it gives me with George Karlaftis, great college edge there. I worry if he's, not to bring up, I believe, another Iowa guy. He's Purdue, but this is another Big Ten guy with Iowa. But I worry if he's AJ Epinesa. I worry if he doesn't have the juice to really make an impact in the NFL. That's what I worry
Big,
about.
strong guy that can't really show up against the offensive line at the NFL quite as well as he did in college.
Yeah, that's the only thing I worry about with him, because it's just a lack of juice. The dude's got a lot to like, but it's that juice that I worry about. So, to my number 4 guy, it is a cat daddy, pet cat, Jermaine Johnson III, out of Florida State. This guy's got length. He does have that juice. He has been on an off-season tear as it goes from the Senior Bowl to the Combine. This guy has checked every box on the way. Also a Georgia transfer. So, you know he's hecka talented.
All right, so you ready for my number 4?
What is your number 4?
You sitting down?
Yep.
All right, good. If you're watching this, listening to this, sit down as well. You can get at me for this one. That's fine.
I know who it is.
I don't get the potential number 1 talk, at least not yet. Now, admittedly, I'm newer to looking at prospects and doing the whole scouting thing. So that's a little bit newer to me. But I do not see the number 1 talk for Trayvon Walker. Now, Georgia used him in a variety of ways, which is both bad and good. It's bad because we didn't get a chance to see him dominate at one position. On the other hand, it's good because he offers a lot of position and scheme versatility. And I'm hoping that whatever team he goes to, that defensive coordinator is savvy enough to be able to use him all across the line. That way you're using his full potential. He just doesn't seem like somebody who's going to be able to sit at the edge position and attack the quarterback every single time. He's fast. He's athletic for his size.
For his size. We'll get there. He's on my list.
I'm just not convinced that he's potential number 1 material, and I may be missing something, and if I am, send it my way. But
all right, next up. My number 3 is Kayvon Thibode.
I saw that one.
Oregon.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Kayvon's got a lot of athletic ability. Naturally gifted this man is. And when he's on the field, he turns it on. I'm worried about the attitude off the field. It just seems through this draft process, he seems maybe, I guess the word I'm thinking of is entitled. It's almost like he thinks everything should come to him easy, and that's just not how the world works. So he needs to man up and get the job done and do what he needs to do, because he has all the ability in the world. Is he willing to work? And I'm not talking about just show up on Sundays. I'm talking about you got to put that work in Monday through Saturday also.
Yeah, I'll give my opinion in a few moments, because my number 3 guy is not Kayvon Thibode.
I know.
It is Jermaine Johnson from Florida State. He's got the size, 6'5", 255. He's got the explosiveness. He's got the quickness. He's going to be on the field for all 3 downs. He's not a liability in the run game. And I really love how he attacks the quarterback with a plan. His value has really skyrocketed over the past few months. And it really should be the entire year, because, as you mentioned before, he was a Georgia transfer. He wanted more of that opportunity to shine, so he transfers to Florida State. He bet on himself, and he won, because when he was out there for Florida State, he wasn't just the best player on defense. He was the best player on the field. So Jermaine Johnson, his value has definitely shot up for me.
All right, my number 2 guy. He's not my number 1 guy. I'm not buying the number 1 overall hype, but he is my number 2 guy, and that's Trayvon Walker. First of all, athletic for his size. The athletic profile is off the freaking charts. He's athletic for somebody 50 pounds lighter than him. I'm just saying, like, this dude is going to be a nightmare. And I get it. The production that you'd look for wasn't there. Why wasn't it there? I don't think it's any fault of his. It's the fault that that defense has him, has Jordan Davis, Devonte Wyatt, has I forgot the name of the guy who's not even draft eligible for at defensive tackle. It's got Anderson, who we're not talking about because of his issues, but he was a bona fide stud. I mean, and then you got the linebackers. You got Nakobe Dean. You got Channing Tyndale. I mean, and then who's the other linebacker? Quincy Walker. Or Quay
Walker.
Quay Walker. I mean, and then you go, Lewis Sign. Like, good Lord. So, yes, I get it. He doesn't have the numbers, but this guy is a bona fide stud. You saw him show up when he was on the field. Even if he wasn't making the tackle, he was back there. He was beating tackles. You just got to kind of not watch the guy tackling and watch him. This guy is going to be a steal for a team, because, well, probably not anymore. The secret's out.
I don't know how you can be a steal if, well, I suppose if he falls, he could become a steal.
Well, no, I'm saying if he would have fell, but I forgot. The secret's out. The secret's out. But when he was gonna go in the 20s or even the second round, that would have been ooh. But he's gonna be a top 10 player, and he's going to be a very good player for an NFL team.
All right. So now we're on to my number 2.
Yes.
And it's going to be Kayvon Thibode, Oregon. Now, he's a player who I could see excel as a rookie because of that natural ability that he has. But once What's that?
Or not. That's the problem. It's that high variance with him. He could be awesome, or he could not show up because of attitude.
Exactly. But once those offensive coordinators get more tape on him and they figure out how they can stop him, it's now going to be up to him to listen to the coaching, the critique, the criticisms of his own coaching staff on how he can better develop. Because I'd have to go back and double check the accuracy, but it sounds like one of the questions he was asked during the interviews is something like, well, what can you work on? What can you improve? And he told the team, well, there's nothing you can tell me that I don't already know. And if that's true, if that's the case, then how come he wasn't more dominant at the University of Oregon? Let's face it, you're going against Pac-12 competition. Not
Also,
that strong.
if there's nothing you can tell him that he doesn't already know, why is he not comparing himself to JPP instead of
Jadeveon Clowney. Right,
exactly?
Jadeveon Clowney 2.0. Now, he needs to be able to accept coaching and critique in order to help his game grow. It's easy to dominate the college offensive
Which
lines.
Clowney has not.
Yeah, everything becomes more complicated in the pros, which is why I think he may be able to excel right away. But once teams get more tape on him, they know how to stop
You
him.
know something? Clowney might be an apt comparison considering Clowney's attitude in the NFL.
And his career and where it's gone.
Well, no, but his career where it's gone is because of his attitude. Clowney is a great talent, fantastic talent, but if he's willing to sit down and take coaching, the guy could still be amazing. But he knows what he knows.
Now, while we're on Kayvon Thibode, before we get to our number one, which I think is going to be really obvious, but would it be better for a smaller market team to draft Kayvon Thibode or a larger market team to draft Kayvon Thibode?
I don't think market matters. I think coaching staff matters.
Well, I say that in the context of off the field stuff because the talk of he's more concerned about his brand and what he's building with his love for the game.
Again, I think coaching staff matters. For example, if we're talking about in the top 5 here, there's only one team in the top 5 with the current coaching staff that I would even say even touch him personally.
I'm going to guess. Well, I could see Detroit or the Jets.
Maybe two. I would not say Detroit.
You don't think Dan Campbell?
We'll see. I actually think Houston or the Jets. Lovey don't take no crap. But in truth, it might be beneficial from the fall to, let's say,
24.
No, not even 14.
Who is that? Baltimore. Yeah, if he needs a strong coaching staff.
Yes,
Yeah.
or even 18 if they were inclined to take an edge rusher, which is New Orleans. Or 20, Pittsburgh.
Man, can you imagine Kayvon Thibode falling to 21, the New England Patriots?
Oh my God, that would be disgusting.
Yeah. Then
right before 22.
I mean, I'd have no complaints if Kayvon Thibode fell to number 22. I'd be okay with the Packers drafting him there. That'd be great value.
But you get what I'm saying here.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
I mean, I could even see him being at Dallas as long as
Dan
Quinn
there.
is there.
Yeah.
You know, that's the part of it. All right, next up, our number one guy, both of us. There's no, it doesn't matter what you think. It is Aiden Hutchinson out of Michigan. This guy's a bona fide stud. His athletic profile shows the likelies of Joey Bosa type, to the dismay of one of our Ohio State buddies. I'm sorry, Matt, but Aiden Hutchinson is going to be a stud in the NFL. This is as easy as a slam dunk pick as you get outside the offensive lineman in this draft. Here's the thing. I'm gonna go off on something real quick. All right, I get some of these edge rushers, like Kayvon Thibodeau's got a lot of talent. Same thing with Trayvon Walker. This is my only slam dunk edge rusher. I've got the offensive tackles ranked above the other guys. Position value and immediate impact, I see them ranked above. He's my only edge that I've ranked above them. And it's because I think he can come in day one and be a wrecker. Just wreck everybody. That's my analysis. He's just going to wreck everybody.
The tape is good. Size is good. The speed is there. The explosiveness is absolutely there. The athleticism is there. He's going to be a 3-down player. The biggest criticism that he's drawn is that he has a high floor and a low ceiling. That's the biggest criticism he's drawn. Is he doesn't have the same upside as Kayvon Thibode. And I'm thinking, BS. What's wrong with that?
No, I'm calling BS on that. Wonder why I call BS on that? He's got a low floor and a low ceiling, or a high floor and a low ceiling. Where was he slated to be taken after last season if he would have came out?
Well, he was injured last year, so he would have been maybe day 2 at best.
No, a lot of people had him in the second round. They had him high second round, but they had him second round, not top overall. I get he was injured, but he did play part of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So he went from a second round pick to being a top 5 pick. That low ceiling does that? You're laughing, but it's the truth.
I think it's just people projecting his growth into the NFL. They think Kayvon Thibode, here's some things that he can work on. If he works on a better game plan, if he works on more moves, he can be a better pass rusher. And Aiden Hutchinson, well, we're not saying he's complete, but of these edge prospects, he is the most complete and the most
this is truth.
I think that's why they say he has a low ceiling.
Yeah, they're still, in my opinion, out of their damn minds. Stop trying to sound smart and be smart.
And one of the things I love about Aiden Hutchinson that kept him number 1, and that
wasn't directed at you. That
I know. Yeah, I know.
People you're listening to.
I'm like, there's no way he's talking to me about that one. But Aiden Hutchinson has a motor that's just running hot all the time. He's playing until the whistle. And I think a lot of it is leadership character that he has as well compared to some of these other edge prospects. Because of all the 6 that we've talked about today, my 5, your 5, I think Aiden Hutchinson's the most likely candidate to go into a locker room and become a leader. And I saw some of that when he showed up at the combine, and he participated in all of the athletic drills when he didn't have to.
There's one more.
He was already,
I think,
he's already a top 5 pick.
There's
without
one more
going
the
to the
group
combine. He still showed up. He still participated. And then he threw up 28, I think, bench presses at Michigan's Pro Day.
Right, but there's one more out of this group that I think would be that type of guy that could jump into a room and be a leader.
Kayvon Thibode?
No.
I know. Just kidding. Who you got?
Jermaine Johnson.
I can see that.
What he did going from Georgia to Florida State and taking over that team. All right, that being said, we are at the end of our edge rushers and our interior linemen. And I just want to do one more part to this to surprise the cat daddy.
What do we got?
How do you feel about these guys matched up with the edge rushers that came out last year? And the interior linemen that came out last year?
Let me pull up a list.
Oh, no, I'm going to pull up a list and I'll name them off. And you can react. I'll go with the ones that in order as they went.
Jalen Phillips.
So we'll go edge first. Jalen Phillips, in comparison here, would he crack your top 5?
I'm trying to think where he was last year in my top 5. I don't think I'd have Jalen Phillips in this top 5.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Odafe. What was the last
name?
Owe. Where would you feel for him? And in comparison to this, would he crack your top 5 here?
Hold on, give me 1 second, right? Let me go find my list from last year so I can see where I had them ranked last year amongst themselves.
I know, I'm throwing you through a loop.
I know, I'm not prepared for this. I think this is my list. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Yeah, I don't think that's my list. We should have some music going on here.
We'll have some. Our pods always have music going.
Oh, good. It won't just be awkward silence while I'm trying to find a list from
I'll
last
tune
year.
it up. Well, I'm already set with some other guys here. All right.
Man, I'm not finding it yet, but
I've got 2 more names for you after this.
all right, who do we got?
Kwity Paye. How you feel about Kwity Paye compared to this list?
I think Kwity Paye was my number 1 edge rusher last year. He may fight against George Karlaftis. That one would be a tough
For
one
number
between
5.
those two. Yeah, for number 5.
Ooh.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So I mean, that obviously says Odafe would not make it, and then we've got Gregory Rousseau.
Nope, he wouldn't crack the top 5. Not for me.
And
I like
one more.
this year's class much more.
Azeez Ojulari. Actually, one more after this. And this is with what they can do in the NFL, is what I'm saying.
All right, so I did find my list from last year. Azeez was my number 3 edge rusher last year going into the draft. I don't think he'd crack the top 5. I think
Kwity Paye?
because Kwity Paye is my number 1.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, knowing what we know with the season and how they produced, Odafe away would put up a really good fight for.
I've got one more name
maybe
for you.
Number 4.
And tell me where this name would line up with your defensive lineman. And just for craps and giggles, I'll do a follow-up for last week. Just for craps and giggles on this one, Micah Parsons.
Knowing what we know now, Micah Parsons would be number 1 for the edge rushers.
Really over Aiden.
Yeah, I think Micah Parsons, he would have the added benefit of the versatility that you could line him up anywhere, and I think that becomes a lot more valuable than someone. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson only line up at edge, right? It's a horrible thing to say, like it's a bad thing. With how well we saw Micah Parsons play this season at multiple positions, he was playing Pro Bowl, All-Pro level at several positions, and I think that would give an edge over Aiden Hutchinson if we're comparing classes.
Okay, so with that, where would you rank him with linebackers?
Micah Parsons?
Yeah.
I mean, knowing what we know now.
Would you put Devin Lloyd over Micah Parsons?
Tough thing is we haven't seen Devin Lloyd in the pros, but I think Micah Parsons would be, if we're throwing Micah Parsons into this draft class, he goes number 1 to Jacksonville. There's no way Jacksonville can look at our team and say, I know we just signed these 2 linebackers in free agency for ridiculous money, and we already have Josh Allen as an edge, but teams know you need more than 1 edge rusher to get to the quarterback, and those linebackers that Jacksonville signed aren't as good as the money that they're getting paid, so Micah Parsons would go number 1.
Just to continue with this, where does Zaven Collins and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah line up with the linebackers that were taken that you have ranked this year?
All right, so this year I have Lloyd 1, Dean 2, Harris 3, Chanel 4, 5.
I think I'd still have
Parsons would shoot to number 1.
Was that?
I said Parsons shoots number 1.
I'd still have Lloyd over. No, I think I'd have Owusu-Koramoah. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah as 2, then Lloyd, then Dean, and then Collins.
Collins would be at the bottom comparing all these guys, Collins would be at the bottom.
Yes.
He hasn't shown us as what we were hoping to see at the pro level. And
oh, no. Actually, I wouldn't have Collins on my list at all. There's someone who did perform with the level of hindsight. Nick Bolton would be number 5.
Oh, yeah. Nick Bolton really showed out this year.
I'd still have Dean over Bolton, though. Just that ability he has.
I do Parsons, Lloyd, Owusu-Koramoah, Dean, and then Bolton. Yeah.
All right, we're on the same page there.
I don't think Harris would be able to crack the top 5 if we're comparing classes.
All right. So,
but that's again knowing what we know now.
Just bringing it in. I've got our lists here.
I found my list.
Bringing it in. No, I'm jumping. Cornerback. So our top guy last year was Patrick Surtain II. Where does he rank with Ahmad Gardner? I have Patrick Surtain II still top guy.
Yeah, I'd have Surtain 1. I mean, actually, my number 1 is Stingley. And this is Stingley playing at his peak. That's how I have him ranked right now, assuming he's healthy, checks out.
Surtain?
It would be really close, but I think I would give the edge foolishly to Stingley. I'd have Surtain a very close second. Gardner for me would come in third. And then for me it would be between Horn and Booth.
I'd have Booth over Horn, personally. Then I'd have Horn. So. All right, lastly.
Don't even ask
still
about
number
safeties.
1. What?
So don't even ask about safeties.
I'm gonna go. Hamilton's number 1. Does not matter.
I think Javon Holland could take number 2.
No, not for me.
You don't think
Daxton Hill. I like Daxton Hill that much. Then I'm putting Javon Holland. Then I'm taking Trayvon Morig. Then I'm putting Brisker.
I didn't see a lot from Las Vegas. I didn't have a lot to see with Trayvon Morig.
Was that good. He was that good.
It would definitely be Hamilton number 1. He's not getting unseated. I can see the argument for Daxton Hill. I'd be okay with him too, as long as Javon Holland is top 3.
Yeah, he'd be 3.
I would probably have Sean Lewis ahead of Trayvon Morig. Because Sean Lewis is number 3 on my board.
Ooh, fair enough.
But it's tough because it's saying what we know now about how Trayvon Morig performed in the pros.
This is the fun thing about it. It's just a fun exercise. And one more. I'm guessing this is the only player that could even match up. Does Christian Barmore even make our top 5 for this year? I don't know. It's a good year for defensive tackles. I mean, I don't know. He's the only guy I would even consider, though. You know? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, in my top 5 is, I'm ashamed to say this, but I'm going to embarrass myself and say it anyways. But I had Barmore 1, I had Davion Nixon 2, I had Tommy Tuggy 3, Jay Tafele 4, Levi Onwuzurike number 5. And I think Barmore is the only one. Levi Onwuzurike, I think those were really the only 2 that showed up.
Lee McNeil on my
Yeah, you had Lee McNeil.
But I mean, even with that, it still doesn't move the needle, you know?
No, I think Christian Barmore was definitely smart to declare last year as the first defensive tackle taken. He, compared to this class, unless he really showed out and performed significantly better and improved on a consistent basis, he's not cracking this top 5. That means he's going to be around 3 at best pick.
Jeez. All right.
Well, I can't wait to review our offensive ones. Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Well, no. Offensive line. It's gonna be real interesting. I think wide receiver. It's not even a contest. Last year is going to blow this year away. At the top end.
Tight end will be fun.
This year's still better. Quarterback. Actually, it's going to be interesting. We'll talk after the pod, though. I don't want to spoil anything.